being a business owner versus giving up the success that they already obtained. So maybe they went to school all of these years and got a good job, and that's making them 40, $50,000 a year. They're not willing to give up that 40, $50,000 a year to become a business owner and make half a million in a year. So essentially, smart people are too smart to give. So in that result, they don't give up the little bit, which is a lot. Compare if you compare it, they don't want to give that up to go get more.
Following orders like comprehension rather than free thinking and creative intelligence. Men have different career earnings and work in different vocations than women, so the results could be very different if the other half of the population was included.
Does that make sense? You see the difference?
Measuring intelligence is very difficult, and a military entrance exam is more likely to be focused on the type of intelligence that would make people good at following orders like comprehension rather than free thinking and creative intelligence that would provide a competitive advantage in the boardroom but not on the battlefield. The study was also done in Sweden, and I know, thanks to the invasive power of Google's data collection, that only 0.9% of you watching are Swedish. USA! USA! Personal finance and careers in Sweden are different from here in the States because they have stronger welfare and worker protections. They also pay lower salaries on average to top employees. Sweden is also surprisingly more entrepreneurial than the States. It has 20 startups per 1,000 people, while America only has 5. So what does this mean? Basically, this means to get into the top 1% where the study was done, you need to be a successful business owner, but in most other places, there is a high chance that you will get there with one of the extremely well-paid jobs that go to extremely intelligent people. It's starting to look bad for the dropout of college hustle bros, and that's before even considering other things that can give people a high income. Some people get a high income not because of luck, intelligence, or hard work. They get it because they're a Nepo baby and have family connections which can land them a job that pays well. As unfair as it may be to someone without these advantages, giving rich kids with connections jobs can be worth it if they keep using their connections to bring in more business. Some of these privileged individuals will be smart, some of them not so smart, but they won't need to be as intelligent as a top
Selena, what it do?
doctor to earn their money, so they will bring down the average of the percentile they land in. So before that you think that this whole investigation was just a big waste of time and that it doesn't reveal the secret to becoming a member of the 1%, you should know that it actually does. Let me show you how. There are some factors that can put dumb people in the 1% that you can't control. You don't get to choose if you are born to a wealthy family that can get you a fancy job by calling in a few favors.
Like a little 100 mil.
A little 100 mil.
You can also only do so much to control whether your business is highly successful, just breaking even, or a complete failure. A lot of it is just luck. But here is something else. You can't 100% control how intelligent you are either. You can practice certain skills, learn new things, but some people will be able to absorb and apply knowledge better than others. You can't copy traits and expect a similar.
Abraham was good. Read my comment. My name is Marosh.
You have to be able to critically assess your strengths and weaknesses and choose a career.
Emma Mitchells. Shout out.
You best. Rich people eat a lot of caviar and fly first class. But flying first class and eating caviar won't make you rich, just like being of average intelligence won't make you a member of the 1% by itself. The first real step is to work out what you are good at and what you are bad at. This may involve admitting to yourself that you are not as smart as you think you are. It might hurt your ego, but being honest with yourself about your weaknesses will bring you much further than believing you're good at things that you're not. Highly competitive industries reward high performers, but they are also equally punishing underperformers. Becoming a doctor will almost guarantee an upper middle class or upper class income for the rest of your working life, but failing out of med school will leave you with hundreds of thousands of dollars
Drunk. How you doing?
student loans that will put you far behind people who are more realistic with their career ambitions. An electrician that does the best work in their area and has a good reputation with builders and businesses will make more money than a lawyer that is average or below average. That doesn't mean drop out of college. It means be honest with yourself about what marketable field you could excel in and do that instead of trying to chase career paths that just have a reputation for earning a lot of money, because if you do, you might end up like the people that rush into tech jobs to chase big paychecks just before the biggest companies in the space will make more money than a lawyer that is average or below average. That doesn't mean drop out of college. It means be honest with yourself about what marketable field you could excel in and do that instead of trying to chase career paths that just have a reputation for earning a lot of money, because if you do, you might end up like the people that rush into tech jobs to chase big paychecks just before
Yeah, Talford, we chilling.
with builders and businesses will make more money than a lawyer that is average or below average. That doesn't mean drop out of college. It means be honest with yourself about what marketable field you could excel in and do that instead of trying to chase career paths that just have a reputation for earning a lot of money, because if you do, you might end up like the people that rush into tech jobs to chase big paychecks just before the biggest companies in the space announce record layoffs. To find out why tech companies that are only running a website need so many employees to begin with, go and watch my video on why tech companies hire and fire so much. A special thanks again to the Daily Upside for making it possible for everybody to keep on learning how money works.
Well, you made it, Peter. You're
Toxic, what's up, bro? Yeah, session going good. You know, brainstorming. So essentially, they saying, man, smart people is just too smart. They don't want to give up what they got already to try to go get more. So if you already got a career where you're making 50, 60,000 a year, it's hard for an intelligent person to say, man, I'm a get rid of this 50, 60,000 a year and try to become a business owner so I can make 500,000 a year and create generational wealth, become a billionaire.
But you were very close to it.
Which means that most of the rich people out there, they're not geniuses, they're not intellectuals. They're actually just incredibly average on the intellectual scale. While the people who did go to a good school, who did get a fancy degree, who pride themselves in their education, 9 times out of 10, they always hit a plateau.
That's definitely something that I've seen in real life. It's very rare to find someone who did really well in school actually make millions and millions of dollars consistently each year. Usually the people who did well in school tend to be stuck making 6 figures the rest of their life.
See what I'm saying? They classified a person that did super good. He said, yes, sir. Work hard, but always leveling up and not getting complacent. Yup, exactly. They use this term as like peaked, like you peaked in high school. The people that peaked in high school don't got it, and it's like a running joke of like, oh, the high school, the coolest kid in high school is now a loser in real life. It's because the cool kid in high school had things set up in place and then, was able to go get that high paying job. The rest wasn't even able, right? And so from them not being able maybe to make the prestige college or to pass the classes or focus and study, right? So because, whoever wasn't able, they start searching for how to create wealth and how to get bigger, you know what I'm saying, for themselves. And they got time. So now they create a business. They might create a clothing line or a brand or something. And they get super ahead and start getting 200, 300, 400, half a million a year. And now is the time they look back and say, oh, yeah, look at the high school dude. He's only a doctor or he's only a police officer making maxed out amount a year. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that the high school person peaked in high school. It's just that they haven't readjusted from that top peak. And like you said, not getting complacent and looking for a way to level up, because you can always level up. But like, it's easy to stay at 60,000 a year, got your home, got your kids, got your family, got everything set, and you just keep going to work every day versus trying to figure out how to become a business owner and take that 60,000 a year to the 100,000s to the half a millions a year.
Academically tracked my whole life, and I graduated from UCLA around the age of 19 with a degree in math. After going through that, I even went to law school and I got into other, Ivy League master's programs in science and technology. But I went through all of this just to realize that this is all kind of a big scam and a big lie.
This is Arvid Ali, by the way. On top of being the former president of the Real Wolf of Wall Street's companies, Jordan Belfort, he's also the advisor that celebrities, millionaires, and the ultra-wealthy go to when they want to grow their net worth. He spent a ton of time with the people who actually made it into the 1%, so he knows what they're actually like behind closed doors. He's got his own YouTube channel that we'll link below. You should definitely subscribe if you like what he says in this video, and I wanted to ask him why. Why is it that quote-unquote dumb people end up making more money than quote-unquote smart people? And we're gonna expose it all in this video. Let's get something out of the way first that I know a lot of you are thinking. But Jake, what about the tech billionaires and the finance billionaires out there? They're not dumb, they're geniuses. I can never be as smart as them. Well, in actuality, most of the billionaires you see are not geniuses. They're just really great at playing the character of a genius.
What you'll always find is it's only the tech billionaires and the finance billionaires that aggressively try to portray themselves as geniuses. Nobody else really does.
Why would they go through such lengths to pretend to be a genius? Simple. It's because their entire business model relies on convincing you to invest your money with them, to invest in their startup, to invest in their investment fund. And the only way they're going to get people to invest is if the masses believe that they're a genius. After all, I am a genius, so your money is much better off in my hands than yours. The perfect example of this is Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos. Before she was exposed, everyone thought she was a genius. But when it all came crashing down, everyone realized that she was no genius, though she was...
You said, well said. You have anything you working? Inventions or business? Not at the moment. No inventions, no businesses. But like YouTube is like a personal business. I'm doubling down because I do Instacart on like my daily. So transitioning to YouTube and putting out more content is like my focus. And then getting the YouTube to kick off. Actually like providing value to where I can see it, flow to me. And then I can, slow down on I can slow down on actually physical labor, and then put more of my ideas out into the world, learn more, then put more out, because this is just not helping me. It help everybody that come across it. Like, I don't know who might click on the video, because that's the way I learn from a lot. Like, from a young age, not having like my pops in my life, I've been on YouTube. So I learned a lot of stuff from here, from YouTube. So it's just natural for me giving it back. But like, that's the where I want to go because that's what helped me, if that makes sense. Like, literally, me searching up topics and getting honest answer. That's why, I be having different takes, but like, I don't like the. Let me see. I'm not gonna say I don't like. Nah, yeah, it's just I learned a lot from YouTube, so the way I'm learning it, I want y'all to get the same way of understanding and stuff. But YouTube, to answer your question, real, building my platform.
With looking like a genius. She was copying all the quotes of Steve Jobs, all in an effort to get people to invest into Theranos. It was the same story with Sam Bankman-Fried. Everyone thought he was this eccentric genius, but as it turns out, he was also a complete dum-dum. Same thing with the WeWork guy. Same thing with the WeWork guy's lead investor, Masayoshi Son. And the same thing with so many other geniuses of yesteryear. And yet for some reason, we still want to believe in these types.
It's not like a situation where you find, people sitting in some room, planning and strategizing and being some genius. No one's sitting there trying to be some genius, and it never works out. And it's nice, especially I think for guys, we want to fantasize that we can just sit there and be a genius and make a lot of money. But the real world does not reward that in any way. It just rewards the person who actually cares to be of value to more people.
So the next time you see some billionaire trying to market themselves as this all-seeing genius, you and I would know that it's all
That's
a charade.
awesome, man. Keep working
that still
hard
makes
towards your goals. You were in my algorithm, so you're definitely doing something right with YouTube. Man, I appreciate that, Toxic.
Why are most wealthy people quote-unquote dumb then? Barbara Corcoran was called the dumb kid all through high school. She was a straight D student who couldn't read or write, thanks to her dyslexia. At 23 years old, she borrowed $1,000 from her boyfriend to start a real estate business. And today, she's worth more than $100 million. Mark Cuban only got through his college technology course because he cheated on his exams. And instead of going to some Ivy League business school, he picked Indiana University without ever seeing the campus, just because it was the cheapest option available. After college, he was fired or quit.
And what I'm thinking about, like, because I just learned this, that's like a pretense for the support. Like, they say like that they're dumb, they're considered dumb, and then they got the story behind on what they did, which is actually not dumb. Like they just said, she got a loan for $1,000. If it works and you're successful, that's not dumb at all. You know what I'm saying? But like a smart person, like a super, super smart person, you would think to go work so many amount of hours to accumulate your own 1,000 and then come back and then start that business or start that invention or something, right? When you don't know how long or what life will happen to, you know what I'm saying, in the midst of you trying to accumulate that 1,000, which a dumb person would go ask for a loan or get a loan to create that startup, and they start immediately today, which catapults them to get faster further, because you start today versus the super hustler smart person who's gonna, you know what I mean, do the labor work and then start later.
Before finding something he was good at. Ironically, it turned out to be tech, the same subject he had to cheat in order to pass. And today, Mark Cuban is worth more than $6 billion. Barbara...
He had to cheat in order to pass. Like they say, good artists take, great artists steal. And then the starving artist keeps creating original content and it is labeled a starving artist. The content he thinks is better, and while good artists take and great artists steal. They just said he cheated to get through. It's kind of like, whatever you got to do to make it. As long as you turn it good, it's kind of respected. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it make sense. Hopefully I'm making sense.
The most well-known investors on Shark Tank. And if you look at the other sharks' backgrounds, you will find the same story. Almost all of them were average or pretty bad in school. And of those that actually made it to college, most ended up in some average school and they majored in something completely unrelated to business. As kids, society branded them as failures. They were the ones that were all called dumb at some point in their lives. And yet these people with their 2.9 GPAs make up the vast majority of the ultra-wealthy. Why?
If you look at the people who can keep building and growing their business for the long term, not just for some 3 months where they thought of something crazy and it might work out initially. People who really build a business for the long term are simply the people who allow brains and most importantly turn off their ego and let their pride step to the side for a second and are willing to do the unsexy process of knocking on doors, of the unsexy process of making phone calls, doing cold emails, being of genuine service to people and not trying to figure out a scheme. It's really about like how many people can you actually be of service to. And even if, like, for example, if you have a restaurant, you can get really busy with one restaurant and have some number of customers, but the person who makes a lot of money is just the guy or girl who decides to keep opening up more restaurants and goes through that process of improving herself or improving himself to actually be able to keep servicing more and more customers. And that's this really, really simple answer to it is it does not require some genius plan and some genius sort of scheme.
For example, let's say you were one of these kids that society branded as dumb, and you decide to start your own business. You create your products, and now you have to go knocking door to door to try to sell it. And right from the start, you get a lot of negative reactions. People ignoring you, slamming the door in your face, that kind of thing. But since you're mindless in the right way, since you don't have an ego and are like, I'm too smart for this, you just keep knocking, you just keep picking up the phone. Maybe it takes 100 or even 200 doors, maybe it takes 100 or even 200 phone calls, but just by the sheer law of numbers, eventually someone is gonna buy. And once you get that first sale, then you just keep mindlessly repeating that and improving it, and then that one sale turns into 2, then 100, then 10,000. Since you had no ego, you probably asked for help.
Hey, I appreciate you stopping through, Toxic, bro. Hell yeah, good looking.
On the right teacher along the way, and with that right teacher, you just kept mindlessly listening to them. You didn't try to reinvent the wheel. So those 10,000 sales eventually turned into 1,000,000 sales, and then boom. One day you wake up and you find yourself among the 1% of society. Not because you were smart, but because you were mindless in the right way. Now let's compare this to someone educated, someone smart in society's traditional sense. Why can't they do this? Let's say you take a straight A student that graduated from a top university, they started business and now it's time for them to go door to door trying to sell it. Well, this guy has probably spent his entire life hearing how smart he is, how people expect great things out of him. And due to his 4 to 8 years of conditioning, education in university, he's been taught that as long as he follows the rules, he will get rewarded. As long as he
They said conditioning, education. Because they mean it like schools can just conditioning you to be a worker and not a business owner.
and fills in the correct bubble, he will pass. So what do you think is going to happen the moment that he knocks on the door and gets rejected? Do you think he's just going to mindlessly continue? No, I did the thing and it didn't work. When I do the thing I'm taught in school, it always works.
And that's what they saying. Like the people that's conditioned by school are easy to give up when they see failure. So they say he'll knock on the door once, and then if it don't work, he gonna give up. He gonna go back to his regular job and say, "Man, nah, it didn't work." Versus trying to go sell it at another door, go sell it again somewhere else.
This is a sham, I quit. And so he quits. He quits doing the one thing that would have guaranteed him making a lot of money. And it's not his fault that he's like this, it's the education system's fault.
Yeah, the most important thing is school does not reward you for actually giving value to anybody. You see what I'm saying? So it has no correlation to making money. The only thing that determines how much money you make is how much value you can provide to other people's lives, either through the products you create or through the services you provide. And at what point did you ever do that in school? Everything that you learn in school is nonsense, in my opinion. Like once you get very sort of advanced level with anything related to math or science, you start to quickly realize that everything that was taught was distilled in such a way where can't possibly even make that much sense for the average person. But it's more so testing your ability to memorize things in a certain way, memorize techniques in a certain way, and show that you are a good sort of worker in the factory, as they say. And that is, as most people know now, like that is what school is designed to do, especially during the Industrial Revolution. It's just simply designed to create good factory workers at the end of the day. So there's nothing about school that in any way correlates to your ability to make money, because again, you're not actually adding any real value to people. There might be a counter argument to this, which is, school teaches you skills and knowledge so that you can provide value to people. That's almost never the case. Like, even if you go through K through 12, even if you go through undergrad, and even if you go through med school and law school, there's very little that you learn in any of these environments that you actually apply into the real world. And anyone who's in a very, very advanced level lawyer or advanced level doctor, they'll tell you this, privately, is that everything that they learn, even in med school or in law school, it almost never applied to the real world. So it's only through your actual experience in directly helping people and getting better at helping people that you can actually make a lot of money.
So where do most of these smart people end up? Well, most of the time, they end up chasing respectable positions that will make their parents proud, that will boost their ego, or where they're just a cog in the wheel following orders just like school, things like finance or consulting. Sure, I have to slave away 10 hours a day until I retire. Sure, it will take me decades to climb the corporate ladder, and eventually I'll make more than 6 figures. But hey, I'm a consultant for McKinsey. I'm an analyst for Goldman Sachs on Wall Street. All I have to do is run on the treadmill and I'll get a modest carrot, just like school. Count me in. And to be clear, there's nothing wrong with this if you're okay making this trade, but the price you pay for this is being stuck at 6 figures until you're old and feeble.
Yeah,
See what I'm saying? They talk down on 6 figures. 6 figures ain't nothing. 100,000 ain't nothing. They like, boy, they like start you a business and get you $1 million. 6 figures, that's all you got?
to visualize this is like, imagine you were trying to get really fit and you want to start working out. The best thing you could do is definitely go to an actual expert, in the type of fitness that you're into, and have that expert give you all the strategies and the plans and everything that you need to do. But then you just go do it. It doesn't require a bunch of thinking. Like that's how sort of life works. Is you can go to an expert, get the right answers, and then you just do the actual steps that you need to do to mirror, what that expert is showing that you can get to in terms of end results. So if you can just find that expert first, that's the tricky part for most people in most industries, is just finding the right expert that they can trust. And usually most experts that, especially online, that present themselves as experts, are not in any way a real expert. What they're really doing.
Same thing again. Bro said you can just find the expert that's doing what you want to do. Ask them how to do it. Once you get that game, just go do that. Don't even think about it. Don't try to get no more game. Just do exactly what they just told you to do.
Giving you information that makes you feel like they're a genius and that you need to trust them because they're some genius, that more importantly, you need to become a genius yourself in order to make money. So those tend to be most of the people that speak publicly in the business space. And that's why, when you follow most of these people, you don't really get good results, because they're trying to imply that business itself is a complicated process, and hence, the reason you're failing is because you don't realize how complicated it is, and you need to keep navigating this complicated process with them. You never really get any genuine results.
That's always the scam. If a motherfucker if a person telling you, just pay me because I can do it and you can't do it, red flag, red flag, red flag, bro. Now, you might not even mean that the wrong way, but you gotta word it right. Like, cause if you human and I'm human, man, I could do it, bro. What do you mean I can't do that? But it's just the fact I might not know how to do it. But you gotta say that. You gotta say, oh, if you don't know how to engineer, I could do it for you. That feels better than give me the money because you don't know how to do it. It's like, nah. It's like, nah.
Provide real results are simply the experts who show that it's a simple step-by-step process, and it's not that you need to be some sort of genius. A lot of people, including myself, always looked up to people like, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, all these random different individuals who present themselves as some genius. And the nice